All right. So let's go over the activity from yesterday. Oh, wrong one. I'll hit that. So we went over compare and contrast hypnosis, biofeedback, and meditation. Sarah, what do you have? What do you got? No, you're good.
I just did like a bulletin list.
Okay.
So let me just read off, I guess, all those here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So for hypnosis, I said like typically requires a hypnotist, whereas like biofeedback and meditation can be self-performed.
Yeah, good.
Do you want me to read all these?
Just do like 3 of them.
Okay.
So 2 more.
And then I also said that like in hypnosis, you're in like a trance type state.
Good. Yep.
And in biofeedback, it's like manipulation of physiological traits. So like the ones you're being put in a trance state by someone else, the other one is like yourself performing, and you're manipulating not like psychological aspects, but like physiological.
All right, good.
And then meditation is just like there's 3 different methods of it that are performed different ways. Breathing and I don't even know those. But it's like performed by using methods to calm and relax yourself.
Yeah, good.
And then so it's kind of targeting both at the same time, psychological and physiological.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see what technology. Well, I guess for hypnosis, the technology is pretty much not really a whole lot because it's performed by people themselves.
Yeah. Like hypnotist.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I said for biofeedback, sometimes they use machinery to learn the functions and how to change them, like noticing when their heart rate's too high and then intentionally trying to lower it.
Good.
And then for meditation, I said that there's not really any sort of technology. I mean, you can learn from, I guess, learning from the internet counts.
Yeah.
Doing it yourself is very
All right, good. Good job. Good job. Campbell, what do you have? Do you have anything different? It's all pretty much the same. Yeah, good. Good job. Good job. All right, so hypnosis, biofeedback, meditation, very similar. It's just how we're trying to maybe alter a conscious state, whether it might be alleviating pain, stress, maybe it's a disorder. Okay, maybe we have some sort of anxiety or stress that's building up. Okay, all are very helpful. Very, very helpful. And again, not much science backing it. That's the thing. That's one of the major problems with it, and how people try to critique it and say it's like a pseudoscience, which in many cases it is. But building on emotions, building on our emotional standing and our emotional effect and feel of things. All right, good job, good job. All right, so today, like I said, I just want to talk about drugs and its effect on consciousness because that will be on the quiz, and I don't want to blindside you with it. So that's what I'm going to mention today. Just a short presentation, nothing too long. So psychoactive drug, a chemical substance that alters perceptions and mood. Okay, so psychoactive drug might be something like LSD. Okay, it might be something like an acid to try to obviously help or alter perceptions and mood, and it really is a hallucinogen in some cases. So hallucinogens is when we hallucinate, obviously, when we go into an altered state of mind, when we're visualizing things and feeling and sensing things that really are out of the ordinary, okay? Out of the ordinary, especially with visualization. Physical dependence, physiological need for a drug marked by unpleasant withdrawal symptoms. So these are symptoms like you can presently see. It might be, blacking around the eye, around your eyes. It might be loss of weight. Maybe it's a gain of weight, okay? Maybe it's shivers or shaking, okay? And physiological dependence of a drug, obviously pushing people to utilize it more, makes it appear in their mental state that they need it, that they are dependent on it. So these are signs of, maybe it's the yellowing of teeth, maybe it's a thinning of hair, whatever it might be. So physical dependence. And then psychological dependence, a psychological need to use a drug, for example, to relieve negative emotions, to make us feel better emotionally, to make us feel comfortable or relaxed, okay, to relieve stress or anxiety. Many, many different uses for it. So physical dependence, physiological need, maybe it's something with a professional athlete utilizing steroids to help them perform at a higher level. Maybe it's a growth hormone to try to help them, again, compete at a higher level and to gain more muscle and gain more strength. And some of the pictures that I've seen of some UFC fighters that in the 90s that utilize steroids and different types of growth hormones, it's present when they stop using it, right? When they're utilizing it and using the drug, it's totally different. And there's a picture of one UFC fighter. He looks like a 60-year-old man after he stopped using the drug and after he stopped using steroids and growth hormones. And it was only like a 3-year lapse. It was so strange. It was so weird. Like his skin, his muscles kind of drooped and sagged, and it wasn't as obviously bloated as what it would look like when he was utilizing the drug. So yeah, there you go. Psychoactive drug, physical dependence, and psychological dependence. Here's a graph of some drugs listed here and their physical harm and or dependence. At the very top, heroin, okay, barbiturate, a type of drug where obviously pushing more people to commit more harm, physical harm, dependence. And I think that's a unique graph. It describes many of these different types of drugs and how its dependence and harm affect each other, how they correlate with one another. Kurt Cobain, right, Sarah? Oh, man. What do you think? Courtney Love was a part of it?
The whole conspiracy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
I don't know. Who knows? Do you watch that documentary, Soaked in Bleach?
I watched some of it.
That's a pretty good one.
I just know. I know what the conspiracy is, but I don't.
Yeah.
I knew that it existed. I think I watched some of it. But I don't.
That documentary is pretty good. You should check it out. I think it was on Hulu for a while. Oh, the battery's going dead. And then here, steroids, cat, which is a type of, it's almost like weed in a way, marijuana. Alcohol, actually rising more towards the top. Tobacco as well. That's kind of shocking in many cases. Cocaine up there as well, heroin, as there's more dependencies and addiction to these drugs. Okay, the physical harm obviously is a little bit higher. All right, tolerance and withdrawal. So we all know the more we use drugs, the more it's utilized, the higher the effect and the higher the tolerance of these drugs. And pushing more people to become addicted and try to utilize something that's a little bit more stronger. So they call marijuana the gateway drug for a reason. Once they start utilizing it, see the effects of it, and see maybe how it calms people down, it just pushes more people to accept and be accepting of more intensive drugs. Some that are obviously stronger, more potent, and our tolerance becomes stronger and stronger to a point where it'll become fatal. Anymore, things are just laced with fentanyl, and that is to obviously push for a stronger tolerance, to push more people to utilize it, to gain more money for these drug sellers, you name it, these dealers. So that's a good graph of correlation of drug dose and drug effects and how tolerance level and withdrawal come into play depending on how much you use of it and what drugs, obviously, people trying to find more of a high with these types of drugs and how it affects our conscious state. You guys good with that? All right, so psychoactive drugs, depressants, drugs that reduce neural activity, slow body functions. And some examples are alcohol, barbiturates, opiates, and depressants, that is like heroin, okay? When you hear barbiturates or opiates, heroin falls in falls into that. So depressants, we're trying to reduce it's reducing our neural activity and causing us to lower blood pressure, lower heart rate in some cases, depending on how much is used, obviously, and put us more in a relaxed state. Obviously, some of these are used for medication or some people that might be going through some stressful and strong anxiety, or people that might be going through PTSD or in warfare, especially if on the battlefield, to try to calm people's nerves or lower their blood pressure, heart rate. Some of these depressants are used on the battlefield. Stimulants, drugs that excite neural activity, speed up body functions. So caffeine, nicotine, cocaine, and speeding up our neural activity, speeding up our blood pressure, our heart rate, and having some sort of a rush, okay? Excitatory fashion, right? And hallucinogens, okay? Psychedelic, mind-manifesting drugs that distort perceptions and evoke sensory images, and really just building on our sensory input. Okay, so our senses are affected by these psychedelic drugs or hallucinogens. So LSD is a good example of this, acid. Or we start visualizing, feeling certain sensations when they're not present to us. Maybe enhancing certain senses depending on what we're doing or what activity we're trying to partake in. So these drugs have different effects on the body. So the main ones I want you to remember: depressants, stimulants, and hallucinogens. One of the biggest debates today, marijuana, right? And how some states in the country are accepting it for medical reasons, for medical uses, and then even recreational use. And that's a hot topic today, whether or not it should be accepted. What do you think, Sarah? Should more states accept it? In this slide, that's really all it's describing. So that's just research on it and how more people are accepting of the drug of marijuana. What do you think, Sarah?
I think the only reason they're legalizing is
Yeah, okay. So economic means?
At this point, that it's like they're concerned over it being a moral issue because I think the government just wants to tax it. That's what I think.
Make some more money off it. Yeah.
I don't have a personal opinion about it, but I think alcohol, how the government first they prohibit it and then it's
yeah.
Oh wait, we can tax it higher than everything else. So
yeah.
I think that's the only real reason it's political.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Just economically, it just makes sense, I guess, to do it, and they can tax it and help support more public services with it. I don't know. I don't know if I like people walking around in that state of mind, but when people are drunk, what's the difference?
I feel like it'd be weird to just walk down the street and see someone
yeah,
smoking a blunt in the middle of the road. Like what? I feel like the medical that could make sense, and that it's I couldn't personally say what it really does to you because I don't know, but I feel like that would just be kind of weird.
Yeah. Heck, when I go to baseball games, I see it all the time. Sometimes, like in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or Philadelphia, you see quite a bit on the streets. But yeah, yeah. Cam, what do you think?
I think medically maybe, other than that.
Okay, so no recreational use. I got you. Hannah, you thinking the same thing? I saw you shaking your head. Gotcha. Yeah, one of the biggest things, making money off it. Okay, some of these states, some of these areas think it's the best way to you can tax the heck out of it and help provide for public services, and transportation, whatever it might be. So yeah, it makes sense that way. But yeah, I don't know if we will. I don't know. I'm gonna just keep my away from it. I don't want to talk about it too much. Barbiturates, so drugs that depress the activity of the central nervous system, reducing anxiety but impairing memory and judgment, And like I said, this is building off of depressants. It's just kind of describing it a little bit more, and like how heroin kind of falls into that, into barbiturates and opiates as well. But opium, so morphine, what I was describing as, in many war movies, if you watch these war movies like Saving Private Ryan, they have morphine shots in a way to try to prevent people from feeling excruciating pain and try to calm them down in intense situations. And like what happens if there's too much of it, obviously people could OD off of it and die. So opiates depress neural activity, temporarily lessening pain and anxiety. And even in hospitals with people that go through surgeries, amputations, they are given some sort of morphine in a way to try to reduce the pain and even some swelling in certain cases. My one friend I played football with, he was in a tragic accident. He actually lost his leg. And he had this, I went to visit him like right after it happened pretty much, and he had like a button that he'd press, and I was, oh, I'm just hitting my happy button. And you could tell he was a little bit too under the influence, I think, of it. But they made sure that he wouldn't overdose on it, obviously. But he just kept clicking it, and he goes, oh, they cut me off after a while. It's like, dude, all right, calm down a little bit. But that's a really big problem. People that are become addicted to it after surgeries especially, and maybe even getting into selling it, making money off of it. Amphetamines, drugs that stimulate neural activity, causing speed up of body functions, associated energy and mood changes. So part of stimulants. Okay, so cocaine, meth. These are good examples of amphetamines. Ever watched Breaking Bad? Anybody in here? Annie, you watch it before? Yeah?
That's my plan.
Oh my gosh, it's recorded, Sarah. That's your plan.
Let's not forget Mr. Smelton.
Yeah, Mr. Smells. Yeah. My chem teacher in high school, that's like when it first came out. I was always watching it. It's like, oh, I got a good idea. You watching Breaking Bad? I said, yeah. Don't even think about it. I'm like, all right. But yeah, that's a good show. That's a really good show. Probably my favorite one.
The one was like the dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh,
have you ever seen Malcolm in the Middle?
A little bit. Yeah, not too much. Bryan Cranston?
I don't know the guy's name, but I know that he was the dad in like a kid's TV show.
Mm.
When I started.
Yeah.
I used to watch Malcolm in the Middle on like that channel, but maybe I'm making a living, I don't know. But then I was like, what? When I watched the movie, it was, or not the movie, the TV show. I was like,
yeah.
went from that to being like crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you watch the movie then with Jesse afterwards?
There's a movie?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I forget what it's called. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Like with that actual guy who played him?
Yeah, it just really describes what happened afterwards.
Oh, Better Call Saul.
Well, Better Call Saul is
That's a
like,
different TV show.
yeah.
That's not a movie, but
yeah.
That one's based off of it. Well, not based off of it, but it.
Oh, Saul Goodman. Yeah.
He was in
Kind of his, right now it's like his build up to how he became a crooked lawyer. And
yeah.
but I forget what the movie's called now. It really didn't, I don't know, it was good, but it didn't really talk about much of, what happened with him after. I don't know. It was more just him kind of laying low, staying out of any type of communication with anybody, and it's kind of boring, I thought. But oh well. All right, last one here. So psychoactive drugs, hallucinogens, ecstasy, LSD, THC, all hallucinogenic drugs, where obviously stimulating the senses. Oh, 5-gum. Stimulate your senses. Yeah, stimulate your senses. So with these types of drugs, many people do it for a high, a hallucinogen, to enhance their sensations during certain activities. And some of these drugs obviously included into marijuana and acid and rave parties, right? Those things are really weird to watch sometimes in movies when you see them on movies. Like, what is going on down there? Colors and all these different types of sounds and try to enhance people's sensations. And all right, that's really all I got for today. I'll leave this up for you. Copy these things down if you need to. That's all I got. I'm sure you did the drug project with Brim, so you guys are all pros at this, huh? Yeah. Was that freshman year? Sophomore year? Was that like your final in that class?
Yeah. We were doing that for like, what, 2 marking periods?
2 marking periods. But you have to write a paper and presentation about it.
Did we write a paper? I don't think so. Just the presentation. We did it like step by step.
Hmm.
With the research and everything.
Yeah.
She organized it like very specifically.
Nice.
But it was plenty of time.
Yeah. Do you remember what drug you had to research? Meth. Oh, Breaking Bad. You're all about it, all right? Campbell, do you remember yours?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Okay. Hannah, did you? Cocaine. Jeez. Holy cow. All right. Well, like I said, I'll have the study guide out for you soon once I post this up. Trends in drug use. These are just talking about marijuana risk, trends of it, alcohol, and some adolescents, teenagers throughout the years. And some of these programs that actually push more people to these types of drugs. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of DARE before. It's still around, I guess, but it was really big when I was younger.
What?
DARE. Had like a lion, said DARE on it. DARE.
Oh, yeah, the drug thing.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm trying to remember what it stands for. I'll have to look that up. Yep, there you go. That's all I got. That's all I got.